Blue guy.
I'm not seeing any creatures. What the fuck, guys?
Hello?
Hi.
I had a question regarding... I have two questions actually, but I wanted to ask... what do you think is the biggest mistake regarding handling of the coronavirus worldwide and then stateside?
Worldwide is really hard because I don't know who has like the jurisdiction or the say to enact things on like a worldwide level. I guess it's hard to say. Stateside for the United States, I think that our inability to get effective tests out much quicker hurt us a lot. And our lack of coordinated top-down response for how each of the states and cities should have responded to this hurt us a lot. Those would be my two big critiques. In terms of like stuff that we could have like actually done without needing like a psychic to tell us what was going to happen with everything.
Alright. Then I had a question regarding if you have ever had a moment where you have broken with a group that you associate with regarding how you think about a particular thing. Like a tragedy where some people, like the group, focuses on a certain topic and you, for example, just think about something else and you realize that you don't have the same goals in mind.
Yeah, that's usually where most of my big like political breakups come from, I think. It's like usually like there'll be some issue, we disagree on it, and then I find out that our value system is completely and totally different. Yeah.
Alright. Do you recognize that at the start, or does it usually happen a bit into the relationship?
Usually it's pretty easy to tell from the start because somebody will have like a body of work that I can draw from to see how they form decisions. But I like to, but like I'll start a relationship with somebody and I'll give them a chance. Like I'm not going to just instantly condemn somebody for past things they've said. But then usually something will happen, something will come up, and then in the course of that discussion we'll find out that our values are quite different. Yeah.
Alright. Thank you so much. Those were the only questions I had.
Okay. Thanks, Pat. Have fun again.
Thank you.
Teacher, you loaded back into this motherfucking game.
I'm 3 out of 7. Yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing this, but every single day it ends up logging me out at some point. And I have to log back in. I say for it to save my login information, but then like every 24 hours it forgets it.
Do you think you have somebody hacking your account?
Brocky, you're up.
I'm on microphone.
Very quiet. What's up?
Jez. Again? Come on.
Oh,
Hold
you're
on.
good. You're good.
Be right back. Or not.
Oh, what? Hey, what's up?
Put me back in.
You're
Put me
in
back
right now, I
Let
think.
me figure out this dumbass microphone. I mean, the audio's now fucking up.
Oh no.
It's okay.
It's not okay.
Sometimes
This
it
guy's mad
happens.
as fuck.
We can hear you though. We can
Oh,
hear what you're saying.
hello.
Oh my god.
Hello?
This is significantly louder.
Wait, is that Scrub?
Sorry.
That's just the Scrub King.
Hi,
Oh.
Scrub.
Hi.
He
Okay.
wanted to join.
Hello. What am I getting this horse for?
We need horse carriages to help Moot move.
Okay.
He's moving from the swamp, into our kingdom.
Got it.
Hopefully. How long did it take you to find the horse?
I've been live for 2.5 hours, so that long.
Alright, there we go.
Oh, whoa.
Okay.
Well, you found one. Now you just need one more.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Alright, I got it figured out. I'm just wearing 2 headphones on my head now. 'Cause
Two?
one of the-
2?
Yep. 2. Alright, so there's one thing I have... When it counts... I'm not sure. Yeah, I used... So, but basically one of the biggest gripes I have with the lefties back in the day was how they pretty much tried to make, or how they cannot differentiate normal racism with systemic racism. Is there like an easy way to kind of tell explain this to them without being condescending or anything?
I don't know. I think a lot of left-leaning people get like pretty stupid about it. I mean, like we have individual racism from person to person, and then you can have like class racism. For some reason, left-leaning people want to redefine all racism to just mean class racism, which I think is pretty stupid. It's pretty obvious that like black people could be racist against white people. Like anybody that's a good faith arguer will acknowledge that. But if they always use like, well, racism is power plus prejudice, I mean, most people aren't working off of that definition, so you should clarify. But yeah.
Yeah. And generally, the people that I hear this from are either people that kind of sound like black nationalists or dumb fucks in general.
Yeah, sometimes it can depend on what circles you're in, but sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Steven, and good luck on the moon.
Thanks, bud.
You're welcome.
Scroob.
But who, me?
Scroob.
Okay.
Not
All right.
Scrub. Scroob.
Scrub, what's your question?
All right, here's my question.
Okay.
I'm wondering why you seem to always dodge the like the vegetarian vegan debate.
Because it's really
By saying
boring
it's like-
to me.
But like when you say it's just based on an arbitrary like way of looking at things, doesn't it kind of like make people who eat meat like more justified in eating meat? If it's like, oh, okay, you can acknowledge that it's dumb to eat meat, but it seems like this content creator acknowledges that and still does it, so then I can do it too.
I mean, if people want to be vegetarian or vegan, they can do that. I think I've platformed a lot of those conversations. I think I've argued against quite a few meat eaters. I think I've platformed enough vegan-related arguments so people can figure that out if they want to.
Oh. And then for the second one, I was wondering if you think it was positive or negative for Trump's campaign for him to get coronavirus, because it seems like with him getting it, he can downplay it even more.
Seems like it would be a positive, but I'm not entirely sure if it even matters that much. Peach, do you see me? Look across the water. Look, no. Don't stop running around. Now.
Okay.
If I can see you, just spin around until you can see me. Spin around until you can see me.
Hi.
Alright, cool. That's all I got.
Okay. Yeah. It might have helped. It might not. I think if it happened earlier in the election cycle, maybe we could have seen that have a bigger impact. But it's hard to say now because everything is so late for that campaign. Like, I don't know if anything could save them at this point.
Yeah. Alright, cool.
Okay.
See ya.
Have fun.
Judge Judy.
I have to see, ma'am. I'm a huge
Are you the real
fan of
Judge
the
Judy?
show.
No.
Oh. Well, what's
False
your question?
advertising.
Well, I wanted to ask Steven if he'd ever consider hosting some kind of like panel with people like Bastian. I'm really important lecture fan.
I would never,
Feel-
ever host a panel. I'm already like, I need to do one more panel show because I feel bad, but like, I'm probably not doing any more of those shows. I don't like shows with like 30 people on them. Like, there's like no chance for anyone to talk. You can't explain any topic in depth. It's like, it's so many people. I don't like that format. But, yeah.
Yeah, I know you hate it. I just with the Royales being gone, it's one of my favorite content. That
Yeah, I mean, it
you're-
can be funny content, but it's not. I don't think it's good to explore like serious issues. But
all right, fair enough. Peach, you're adorable. That's it.
Oh, thank you.
you're not.
Heck you, Steven.
Why do I feel like we need this dark stone?
I already harvested some.
Like a lot, or
I harvested a good amount. Also, chat, we need to have a talk. Because
Uh-oh.
when people come into stream and they say nice things about Cake, you wide people happy them. When they say things about Dan, you wide people happy them.
Uh-oh.
But because I'm a woman, every time someone comes in and says, "Hey Peach, I really like your content," or "Hey, I think that you're really cool," you always call them a simp. And that's only because I'm a woman. You never do this to the people that support men. You only do it to the people that support women. And you guys should reflect on your behavior and the way that you treat people who say that they support me. Thank you.
damn, yikes! Making the cringe face right now for you guys. Way to go. Okay, bring in the next one.
No, you.
Oh, well.
SEJ. Okay, I guess not. I guess they didn't want to come in.
Wise choice.
Brewed sugar. He's not. He's muted. Can't
Oh my
even hear
God.
us.
Hey guys,
Hi.
am I still muted?
Nope.
Nope.
So I wanted to ask about your egoism.
Okay, hit me up. All right.
I wanted to ask, is there anything that you would die for?
Probably my kid, maybe Melina, but it's probably pretty restricted to probably like literally just like my son. I don't know if I would for anybody else.
What do you think of people that are willing to die for other causes?
If you want to, go for it. I don't know. It's up to you.
It seems difficult to me to square egoism with the general endeavor of building a civilization, because it seems to me like you have to be willing to defend a civilization, and it would be hard, I think, to defend a civilization if more people took the stance of egoism.
Well, I mean, if you realized that if nobody wanted to defend a civilization, civilization couldn't exist, which would mean that your life would probably suck because you'd have to go out and pick berries and hunt food or whatever, then it'd probably make more sense to like, if I had a choice between joining a 100-person civilization or living on my own, and that 100-person civilization demanded people that were willing to fight and die for that cause, I'd be willing to fight and die for that cause. Because I wouldn't want to live on my own. So I think that, like, yeah.
So maybe I've misunderstood your position on egoism then, but it would seem to me that the rational egoist would always let someone else fight.
Well, not if it was demanded of you or if there was some contractual obligation that made it so that you had to agree to it. I mean...
Alright, so you would be in favor of the draft then?
If it was necessary to defend a country, yeah, for sure.
I see. Well, I guess that's the end of my line of questioning then.
Okay. I love you.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
You gnome fuck!
Vegans are stupid and so are animal abusers.
Based.
Blamus.
Blamos.
It's actually Blamus. I know.
Oh
Been around
God.
forever, but we've never talked before.
You're
Wait,
a
Blamus is
dog.
Who, we've
You're
never...
a dumb.
You and me have never talked before?
Not on stream, no. I mean, we used to. I was in the DayZ group forever, but
Wait, we've never had an actual conversation? Wait, you're like a 40-year-old like minister kind of person, right? Am I crazy?
I was I left the ministry in 08.
Okay, yeah, but okay. It's just crazy to me. I feel like we've traded so many messages and everything. It's crazy to think that we've never like actually had a voice conversation before. But okay, go for it.
Yeah, that's funny. I just wanted to touch base on epistemology real quick, if that's cool.
Okay, go for it.
Well, one of the things that I've always really appreciated about you is your focus on consistency in your thought processes and your conclusions. And it struck me weird, as odd, when
Wait.
Would come
you were
on to
in...
bitch about lefties,
One
but
second.
I'm currently banned for 30 days from your server because I angered a lefty circle jerk.
Okay. Sorry, somebody donated. Okay, go ahead.
No worries. Yeah, it struck me as odd when you landed on kind of like an arbitrary. Well, I don't know if it would say arbitrary, but you are just okay with not knowing that you can't know things. Because, I mean, if I'm recalling correctly, you believe that arbitrariness, or not. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
We have to behave as though we can know. To not live that way is absurd,
Yeah,
correct?
for sure, yeah.
So if that's the case, why would you, if axioms are essentially arbitrary, why would you choose an axiom that causes you essentially to live an absurd life?
Which axiom have I chosen that leads to that?
That you can't know anything.
Oh, that's not something that's axiomatic to me. I guess that's something that I kind of like learned through experience. I don't think I have an option to reject or accept that. It doesn't seem to be the case, at least. Like, to me, like, the understanding that my individual frame of reference is subjective, that seems to be, like, as intuitive to me as, like, the feeling of pain. Like, I can't just say, like, oh, well, I just shouldn't feel pain, and then I'm fine. I don't have to worry about it. That's what it feels to me.
Okay. What would... I think I know the answer, but I want to reframe because it's been a long time since you talked about it.
Yeah,
what would you require to know things?
I don't actually think I have an answer for that. It almost feels to me like knowing things requires some sort of perspective outside of your own, which is by definition impossible to have. So I don't know if that's like... So my answer would be the ability to know things as being absolutely true or factual or whatever, or it to be actually like in the world or whatever, requires something that is like outside of what human perspective is capable of. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
Last building.
We went on a similar philosophical path, and you landed in a different place than I did. Because obviously, I came from a theistic background. You came from a theistic background.
Mm-hmm.
I rejected that for a while, and you did, obviously. And it was this question that landed me back, not in any kind of religious context, but as a theist or some kind of something other, because of the epistemological question. Because my experience, as far as I can tell, demands that I know that it be what it is, if that makes any sense.
I don't think it demands that. I don't think that's necessarily true. Okay, we're reading this. And then I'm getting a Minecraft, okay? I'm not going anywhere tonight, guys. You got me all night, okay? We're streaming until midnight. Not a joke, folks. He's running on a transformative policy agenda, part of a Biden presidency. Former Vice President Joe Biden has never really sought or received a reputation as a deep thinker on domestic policy matters. His highest profile role as a senator involved judicial confirmations and his time chairing the Foreign Relations Committee. As a vice president, his best-known work was in national security domain or as a personal emissary from the White House to Congress. As a candidate in the 2020 primaries, his pitch was overwhelmingly about electability. His policy profile was defined primarily by the things he wouldn't embrace. Left-wing journalists and activists criticized his opposition to sweeping proposals from Senator Bernie Sanders like Medicare for All or the Green New Deal. Biden argued that the plans were implausible to make real and that he would take a more pragmatic approach, frustrating proponents of a political revolution or Senator Elizabeth Warren's big structural change. That conflict between what the left wants and what Biden wouldn't give them became the dominant narrative about him in the mainstream press. Biden was defined by the things he was against rather than by the substantial overlap between his policy ideas and those of his progressive critics. Biden is a mainstream Democrat, and the Democratic Party has grown broadly more progressive in recent years. He is now running on arguably the most progressive policy platform of any Democratic nominee in history. It's a detailed and aggressive agenda that includes doubling the minimum wage and tripling funding for schools with low-income students. He's proposing the most sweeping overhaul of immigration policy in a generation, the biggest pro-union push in 3 generations, and the most ambitious environmental agenda of all time. If Democrats take back the Senate in the fall, Biden could make his agenda happen. A primary is about airing disagreements, but legislating is about building consensus. The Democratic Party largely agrees on a suite of big policy changes that would improve the lives of millions of Americans in meaningful ways. Biden has detailed considered plans to put much of his agenda in place. But getting these plans done will be driven much more by the outcome of the congressional elections than his questioned ambition. A big minimum wage increase. Biden's commitment to raising the federal minimum wage from its current $7.25 to $15 an hour is one of the least talked about plans at stake in the 2020 election. The 2016 cycle, when Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders disagreed about raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, the debate was the subject of extensive coverage. By the 2020 cycle, all the major Democratic candidates were on board, so it didn't come up much. But it's significant that this is no longer controversial in the Democratic Party circles. The party is broadly comfortable with the wage hike. As a matter of both politics and substance, Democrats in Congress are likely to make it happen if it's at all possible. That $15 an hour minimum wage hike would be huge. I think it would be bad, personally. I don't think $15 an hour across the entire country makes sense, but it would be huge politically. Krugman disagrees. Krugman is pro 15 an hour nationally. Paul Krugman. Oh, this is from 2014. Is there anything more recent? I know there's a way in Google to look at. The A-I-E-I is the ice. Okay, we'll take this as a 2015 article, but... Paul Krugman points out the minimum wage can be set too high. Wait, this is when he opposes it? And as Krugman doesn't go on to point out the general best guess that we have is that 15 an hour is too high for the U.S. But the important point here is that we've got the country's leading economic commentator pointing out a deep economic truth about the minimum wage for us all, that it's not just some arbitrary number which can be set at anything like we like to base on some of our social justice arguments. There are bad effects that come from setting the wage even higher. The higher it being set, the greater its bad effects, as of course when we do examine the meaning of too and too high. And I say is best case too high. The U.S., even on the most generous reading of the evidence, 12 an hour is the maximum sensibly possible. 12 an hour is the maximum sensibly possible, and on a more realistic reading of the ruins, 8.50 an hour is probably the tops. Average wages are determined by average productivity, thus average wages are an indication at the very least of what productivity is. Thus again, logically, median hourly wages are a good guide to average productivity. What is, when you talk economically, what is productivity? How do they calculate that? This must mean like a specific, it can't just mean like efficiency of a person completing a task. It's got to be like hours of labor into like how much like revenue or something is generated, right? Is that, it's got to be more complicated than this, is it? Or is it not? Productivity in economics. Productivity in economics measures output per unit of input, such as labor, capital, or any other resource, and is typically calculated for the economy as a whole as a ratio of gross domestic product per hours worked. Labor productivity may further... So productivity in economics measures output per unit of input, such as labor, capital. Could output here include, like the actual cost of a good or service? They use a formula like Cobb-Douglas. Cobb-Douglas. In economics and econometrics, the Cobb-Douglas production function is a particular functional form of the production function, widely used to represent the technological relationship between the amounts of two or more inputs, particularly physical capital and labor, and the amount of outputs that can be produced by those inputs. The Cobb-Douglas form was developed and tested against statistical... I'm just curious if that output includes like the cost paid for said output. Federal minimum wage equates to 15 an hour. Wouldn't that just cost everything, or at least to go up in price? I don't understand.
Here, just have the mullah.
Yeah, probably some increase in price, but hopefully not completely proportional. Like wages only. Wages. Fuck. I knew this when I was in McDonald's because you're a genius. We would have to keep our labor under a certain percentage of sales.
For fucking up my
like wages are anywhere from like 10 to 20%, I think, of like the final product in like a fast food sale. So like if you double your wages, it's not going to double the cost of the final product. I don't remember exactly what it was, but. Okay. I don't. Well, if you guys have something different to link. Paul Krugman, 15 an hour. Okay. Some Twitter bullshit. New CBI report on raising the minimum wage. Most important takeaways is it would be a large gains for firms below the poverty line and a reduction in the number of people below that line. Okay, this is the last thing we're gonna look for, but people are saying you can filter by. Okay, that's okay. I don't care. I don't like this paragraph, but I would have to read more, I guess. The CBO substantially overstates the cost. The CBO finds that the policy would lead to a decline in employment by 1.3 million, so 1.3 million jobs lost. Though in choosing the parameters that resulted in that conclusion, it failed to appropriately weigh the highest quality studies in the vast academic literature on this issue. As a result, policymakers must be skeptical of their assessment of the employment impact, given that other careful reviews of the minimum wage literature have shown that the average study finds small to no employment effects of minimum wage increases. This is
You